Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Recast. I'm here with Lunar, Lux, and Damo.
What's up, guys? I'm Lunar Lux. I have done a podcast with Bio before. You guys know me. I do content here on YouTube, Kingdom Hearts, Smash Bros. Ultimate, and in the next coming months, many more. So, yeah, that's me.
Astral Chain.
Astral Chain!
I'm so excited for that game.
The
wave. I'm Damo. You may have seen me from my Kingdom Hearts Union Cross strategy videos, and I'm sort of taking a break from that at the moment to work on story videos of Kingdom Hearts and other game franchises. So, yeah, thanks for having me on, Bo.
Yeah, of course. Usually we'll start with an icebreaker. Lunar asked you last time, so I'll skip you. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
But Damo, what's your favorite Keyblade / form change, and what's your favorite world?
Favorite Keyblade?
From
favorite
Kingdom
world?
Hearts 3.
From Kingdom Hearts 3. I really liked Pirates of the Caribbean. Not so much my first time through, but sort of as I kept playing through it more and more, I was like, holy crap, this world just keeps on going. It's enormous, and there's so much detail and lots of places to explore. I don't know. It felt like I was really properly exploring it in a way that I never really felt in the series before. I thought that was really sick. Kingdom Hearts 3 Keyblades or whole series?
Yeah, like a favorite form change, probably.
All right. I mean, I'm hoping the answer's going to be that Oathkeeper one, but as of the ones that are in the game right now.
Yeah, right.
I am a sucker for the sound effects of the Big Hero 6 one. God, I can't even remember the names of them now. Some Kingdom Hearts fan.
Oh, Nano Arms?
Yeah, Nano Arms.
Yeah, that one's cool. I think it's Lunar's
I was going to
favorite
say,
too, right?
yo, Damo and I are twinning with that because I think I said Pirates and I also said the Big Hero 6.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
You're a man of good taste, dude. That's good.
I'm in good company then. That's great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I like the Pirates world. I didn't enjoy it the first time through because it felt locked to that crab hunting on the island. But then I think someone pointed out that you're supposed to travel to the other islands to find the crabs or something. So it was supposed to get that exploration feel, but I just stayed on Port Royale and
yeah, I don't think they choreographed that quite as well as they meant to, because you come across huge caches of crabs later on, and I mean for me I was already fully upgraded at that point. I was like, oops.
Yeah, I did the exact same thing. I just ran around Port Royal and I collected the crabs that way, but I didn't realize, that was when I was trying to level up ship, when I was going to there's 12 different islands or something like that, and I didn't realize how, and it was like you were saying, I said the exact same stuff where it's crazy how expansive and how much detail was put into that world. I mean, even I had fun just exploring the little islands for 5 or 10 minutes. So
absolutely,
I wish that I did do that when I was initially playing through the game, because I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was doing the Let's Play, so I was trying to rush through it a little bit. But going back and trying to trophy hunt a little bit and realizing how expansive that world is, it's ridiculous how much detail they put into that world. And I'm so glad that they did put that world back in, because in Kingdom Hearts 2, I was like, ugh, this doesn't sit right with me. I love pirates. But with Kingdom Hearts 3, they nailed it. They nailed it. The music and everything was it's so good.
Yeah, and each island was different. So I remember going to an island, I was like, oh, this one's so small, and then you find a little cove that you can dive underwater, and there's multiple alcoves under the water. It's so cool.
Yeah, it was great. I love pirates so much.
Yeah.
The one little room you come across that's got 50 treasure chests in one place. You're like, what?
Oh, yeah.
What? Oh my god, it's amazing.
I still don't think I found all the treasure chests in the Pirates world. I think I have 1 or 2 missing, and I'm just I'm never gonna find
idea where they're gonna be. Yeah.
It's too big. But yeah, let's move on to our talking points. So the first one, the Union Cross teaser just came out. I don't even remember what it's called. It was it's time to remember or something.
The time to remember is arriving.
Yeah, that's what it is. So what do you guys thought on that?
And dude, immediately I thought it was screaming remind at me. That was what I thought the teaser was for. I didn't even really at first I didn't put it together, where I was like, oh, they're gonna they're gonna add more to Union Cross, and they're gonna add a whole new story update, this crazy big thing. But initially, I was like, this is going to tie into Kingdom Hearts 3's DLC. It has to, or at least has to hint at it or something, because the time to remember, the DLC is called Remind. I initially was just it's all going to come together. This is what they have to do. And I'm excited for it, because one of my main issues with Kingdom Hearts 3, with the Kingdom Hearts Union Cross stuff, is they didn't properly they foreshadowed at it, and they definitely dropped hints here and there. So obviously, the people like us that are really into the series understood those references and stuff. But when it comes to the casuals, I mean, I have some friends that even with the whole Lushu thing at the end, they didn't know what that meant. They were like, "Who are these people? What's going on?" Yeah, and I was like, "Did you see the epilogue?" They're like, "Yeah, I didn't understand it." I'm like, "Oh, that was like the best part." And they need to do a better job at like tying those two sort of like timelines and those two arcs together into the current one or into the next one, I should say. So I really do want this Union Cross update to tie into Kingdom Hearts 3's Remind, or at least just Kingdom Hearts 3 in general. But the updates, again, it's been slow. Sometimes they're exciting, but for the most part, it's slow paced. I mean, they're trying to stretch the game out as long as they can. But
yeah,
the last big update that they had that intrigued me at least was the whole Strelitzia arc, where like we didn't know who this girl was, and then the whole thing happened with her, and that was the last time I was sort of like really interested in this. So hopefully the next thing that they do sort of like blows us out of the water.
Well, I'm the one that really grabbed me was the glitching in Daybreak Town. Like that is fascinating, especially like I think in Scala there's with Xehanort when you see all the multiple Xehanorts before you fight his vessels. And he like does like the same glitch effect. Yeah, and it's like, wait, what? Come again. But anyways, Damo, what's your thoughts on the Union Cross teaser?
I mean, I feel like I've been saying for ages, it's like a no-brainer, right? Like all these people are going like, hang on, where's the Keyblade War? Isn't this the game about the Keyblade War? And then it's like, okay, well, actually, yeah, technically it is, but what we're playing is like a alternate universe version of the Keyblade War. People are like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I just want to fight the foretellers. And it's like, they've already given us the in-game excuse for why we should be able to do this. Like, a character has a dream in quest, I don't know, like 585 or whatever, and like remembers a cutscene that was only in Kingdom Hearts Key, and it's like, all right, so why can't we do that for the Keyblade War? And I guess like 4 years in, they're finally going to let us do that. But yeah, awesome. If it's not a permanent event, I would be blown away. Like a permanent event that sits there all the time, where a character just starts streaming, our Chirithy sort of looks over us and goes, oh, wonder what they're dreaming about. And we sort of fight the 5 foretellers and literally live through the whole end of Kingdom Hearts Key.
Oh, so you're thinking that it's not going to be like a story update. You're thinking like it's going to be like an event that just stays there like the story events with the vacation. Beach vacation thing.
I would hope it's permanent only because like there's no, I mean, yeah, the precedent is for it to go away, but there's no real reason for it not to, right? Like, what's the harm in it just sitting there for that? Anyone that's missed it can come in at any time and play it, or anyone that wants to replay it in the future can do that. The only problem with that is that the power creep in this game is so ridiculous that it'll be difficult when it first comes out, and then in 3 months it'll be a piece of cake. But
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if it was something that could continuously like add content to it to adjust like the power levels and stuff, like that would be a way to do it. But then again, you're going back to that whole system where they're just constantly updating the game slowly and throwing more stuff at you. And this is sort of like we're expecting this to sort of be like the big, like one of the biggest updates possible. Because I mean, they don't really advertise stuff like this, right? They sort of just upfront and say like, hey, this is what's going to happen. But like they were really quick and brief and ominous with this teaser for the update. So that's why I'm expecting something like really big from this, like something really huge. So hopefully we get something big. Hopefully it's, substantial and it sort of holds us over until the DLC and stuff. But I don't know. They could do anything. They could really do anything with this. I don't know. We just got to pay attention to like how they worded it. It's like the time to remember, or it's almost the time to remember. So I don't know. I got a couple ideas of what that can mean, but
yeah, my interest is like, shouldn't this be on like the JP Twitter?
That's
like,
exactly it. Yeah, exactly.
That was what confused us. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier, where we were sort of like, are we going to finally catch up to them? Is it going to be sort of like 50-50 now, or like what could they be possibly like advertising,
Does the Union Cross for the JP, did they also tweet it out?
No, there's no tweet about that whatsoever. They talked about the Brave X Spheres crossover, and there's no tweet about that whatsoever.
That's weird.
That's what, yeah.
Huh.
So part of me thinks like, because in theory JP players do already know the story, given that they got Key, I wonder if it's like a way for the global people only to catch up. I mean, it wouldn't be global only, but it'd be like more hype for global who'd have never got a way of experiencing it in their own language apart from, fan translation. So,
That'll be interesting because there's a couple parts in.
It's pretty huge stuff that we miss out on.
Yeah, because I remember I was watching your story video like last month, and there was a part where you were like, "There's like the only cutscene we have of this is a fan translated thing, so we don't really know exactly what they were trying to get across, or if this is what they were trying to get across." So I wonder if that cutscene will come up. You know what I'm talking about? There was like a page or
yeah, okay, yeah. My most recent video. Where Brain's going through the book.
I feel like it was in the big one that you did, like the first one. There's one section in Key that like was never translated like or localized to English, and it seemed like something important, but
oh, gotcha. Sorry. Yeah, the actual lost page itself. Gotcha. Yeah, I really hope that's included as well. Yeah, literally the entire episode, or the end episode of Kingdom Hearts Key has got so much important stuff in it, and we've like never experienced that in English at all. So please give.
Yeah, and that's kind of something that we were talking about before we started doing the podcast, where I was saying that it's kind of difficult for, you know, the global audience to keep up with the story updates because, you know, obviously we want the information, we want the plot points, we want to know what's going on. And there's a bunch of YouTubers that do a really good job translating it. But like you were saying with the whole Lorium thing and figuring out if Strelitzia was his sister or someone else, yeah, like there's always those mistranslations or those like, you know, misconceptions. Like we don't know exactly what they're talking about. So if they give global the opportunity to actually understand what's going on like sooner or something along those lines, like you said, like with the missing content, the things that were never like fully localized or translated properly or officially, like we need that content, especially with like since they're teasing it and this is supposed to be such a big deal for what's to come. So they got to do something, and hopefully, you know, we get that or something along those lines.
No, 1,000%. Yeah, no, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I mean, in terms of like, oh, sorry, man, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I mean, in terms of like other content, I'm wondering if, you know, the foretells will obviously be brought back up again. So is that a good time to, you know, give us the Supernova Plus versions of those, the foreteller medals, like maybe foreteller avatar boards, things of that sort of nature. Like, I'm kind of keen, and that would tie into the whole like anniversary thing where the foretells are usually featured in an anniversary, or Kingdom Hearts 3 versions of those medals instead.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, do we have any renders of the foretellers?
I believe in the Ultimania, but I'm not too sure.
I was just about to say, yeah, I think every character got a render in the Ultimania, but it's not actually like out, you know, all that stuff.
Huh.
Dang, I want that.
I was always interested why they had the foretellers keyblades in the like art book of the deluxe version. So if you bought the deluxe version of Kingdom Hearts 3, you got that art book, and like there's a whole like 2-page spread of all the foreteller keyblades. And it's like, why?
You know what's funny? I actually have the deluxe edition of the game sealed, like to my left, and I never opened it, so I don't know what's actually in that. So every time someone talks about what's in the art book, I'm like, dang, I really want to open that. But you know, the little nerd in me,
it's really cool.
I'm keeping it sealed. I actually bought the game. I bought the game separate, so I didn't have to open it. Like I was that into it. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I gotta keep it sealed.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen the whole art book. I've seen a couple pages of it, and then there's that note in the end. If you guys saw that from Nomura.
No, what was it?
That was going around. It was like talking about how he was like really trying to make the story like satisfying for everybody. He knew how hard it was going to be, and so he just like, I think he wishes that, here he says he wishes that people will focus on the experience that people have with the game. I'll have to find it later. It's really cool. Like I'm really glad I read it before I played the game. But
dang.
Yeah, it's cool.
I do think that the foretellers are gonna have a part in this update, like for sure. So you know, we'll see. Hopefully we do, because like again, we do have that whole thing where, you know, the Keyblade War like quote unquote didn't happen in this world, but it did happen in the real world, and we don't know what's going on, and it's just they gotta touch on that. I think it's time. Bring it back.
Oh wait, go back. Wait, what did you say?
Oh no, I'm just saying that like they because I don't know, Damo can explain it better, because I have an understanding. Basically, we're not in the real Daybreak Town. It's like made of data. Like they're catching on.
Oh, you're talking about
it, and like the real Keyblade War is actually like going to happen, or it did happen. I'm not entirely sure what the time flow is, but Yeah.
Dude, I still don't know everything. Every time I think I have it figured out, I'm like, all right, I got it. And then I think about it again for 5 more minutes. I'm like, oh wait, I know nothing.
Yeah. So like, is time flowing the same
so
in
crazy.
this artificial Daybreak Town? Like, did it already happen? Is it running parallel? Is it identical? Is time like kind of suspended like the Realm of Darkness? Like, what's like I don't know what's going on. Like, we just gotta we gotta wait.
Yeah.
I really hope
Well,
that this train is still on the tracks in terms of plot of like, okay, it's still going the way Nomura wanted to, because I don't know, I've expected it to go so many like places that it just hasn't gone to either yet or it just won't go to at all. And I'm like, man, you had all these outs, you had all these ways for it to all make sense, and like it's like, oh no, we took another left turn into like even further crazy town, and like, oh man.
Yeah, and then we have like I don't know, it's just it's so hard to explain.
That one secret report in Kingdom Hearts 3. Or that one secret report that kind of like gives us the end goal. Like we kind of know what's gonna happen, but it's just like, how are we gonna get there?
Yeah, and the problem with Kingdom Hearts in general is just like the most obvious answer is never the right answer, but sometimes it is, and it's just you know, it's really hard to theorize with this game franchise.
Yeah, it makes it a lot of fun.
Oh no, 100%. Like I love it. I love that it's like complicated and wacky. It's awesome. It's fun.
It's definitely part of the allure.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. There's still, I can still remember a moment when I was like much younger. I was sort of thinking about like the plot of Birth by Sleep, and I just had this like realization of like, it all makes sense. I don't know, like I think it was why Vanitas looks like Sora or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is like before I was even on the internet, before I even knew anyone else talked about Kingdom Hearts. It's like, wonder why this. Wait, because of that. Oh god, it all makes sense. The more you genius. It might have even been about Roxas or something. I don't even know, but
yeah, and I love how people do also say that, you know, Nomura kind of like wings it, and I'm sure that there are some moments like Mickey losing his shirt in 0.2. Like that was they just didn't have a design for the mouse. Okay, like we know that didn't need to happen, but it was, I think it was the other day, Bio, when you were streaming, and there was like that final mix cutscene where they were talking about it was that interaction between Zexion and Zigbar, where he was talking about, oh yeah, like I found like Mar or something. It's like now it's making more sense. You know, it's weird. It's like, okay, we know Lorian was back in the day. We know Luciu is Zigbar. Like, so now there's more significance to stuff like that. So watching everything come full circle like that, I want some of that out of this new update with Union Cross. I want things to make me think and to be like, oh, maybe he planned this, or maybe we got to think twice about this specific like scenario and stuff. So it's just it's crazy, you know. It's crazy what Nomura can do with this game. It's nuts.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's always like these moments. Because I've been playing back through the series, and there's so many moments, especially with there's a scene in Kingdom Hearts 2 where Zigbar is talking about, oh, I found like Marluxia, and like I'm the one who brought him into the organization. It's just like, okay, now that we know that you're Luciu and you were back in the Age of Fairy Tales, like what?
It's wild.
Yeah,
I think Nomura just deserves so much credit for looking back at his series and being like, okay, what are these like little loose threads here, little comments here and there that I can pluck out and turn into a full-blown plot revelation later. Like the whole Ansem's Guardian thing. It's like, oh, I know what we'll do. We'll turn that into, and it's like. Right. Like that's
so
the best
good.
example in my opinion.
It's funny just because it's just one of those things where you're like, dude, like that does make sense. Like it's insane how he was able to do what he did with that whole thing. And I think I forgot who pointed it out. It was a while ago, but it was actually months after we learned about Strelitzia and stuff within Union Cross. Where if you play back through Chain of Memories, you know the final boss fight with Marluxia, his second form, his guardian, it looks like Strelitzia. I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, you gotta chill out. This is too much.
It's like the way he writes is awesome. Like maybe he doesn't know like when he writes it, but he leaves it open so that he can like connect things, which is just 100%. Like
I think that there's a difference between mindlessly throwing out plot points and making them make sense. And like even though it's obvious he didn't plan some of these things, the fact that he's able to execute them the way he does is where I'm like, hats off, man. Hats off. It's crazy.
For sure.
It's sort of funny though, because like I think it isolates a lot of people. Like if you're into the series you're in, there's no hope for you. You're stuck in at that point. But I do wonder how people new to the series, or even just like casually familiar with it, must sort of think like, I've got a friend who would consider himself a Kingdom Hearts fan, and I'm like, oh look, here's my PS4, or my housemate actually, here's Kingdom Hearts 3, go play it, and he's like, oh man, I don't know, it's been too long. Like the opening cutscene here was like, oh jeez man, I don't know, like do you know? And I was like, well, I've got a video you can watch. He's like, no. So,
Yeah, and the thing that is really frustrating is that was a concern for a lot of people, especially with Kingdom Hearts 3. Like, I think the big concern was definitely not only the other games, but Union Cross as a whole. And they do their best to try to like educate everybody and catch everybody up, because like, I mean, they have those little like book things if you go to the cinematics in Kingdom Hearts 3, but that it doesn't do enough. Like, from someone that understands this series pretty much inside and out, like it doesn't do enough. So it's hard. Like you said, it's just almost impossible to catch up without really playing through all the games and doing it. Like, they try to do shortcuts and educating people, but it's hard, dude.
Yeah,
it's hard.
I think it gives them enough to get through. Like, it gives them enough information to like at least kind of understand what's going on. But I think I think Kingdom Hearts really was made for the long-term fans, obviously, because
it was. So that's why when people
like
hate Kingdom Hearts 3, or they hate something that happened, or they don't like this and that, I'm like, well, I understand that. It's because that game was for the fans. That was supposed to be the giant end-all be-all thing. So I don't know what to tell you. You know, you can't just watch The Rise of Skywalker and expect to know everything about the Star Wars franchise. Like, you just can't do it.
This is true.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So, you touched on this a little bit, actually, Lunar. How do you guys think Union Cross and Remind are going to connect? Do you think it's going to be, like with characters, or do you think it's going to be with like Masters, or with the organization members? Like, what parts are going to connect with Union Cross and Remind?
I actually wrote down 3 ways that I think that are most likely the ways that they're gonna connect Union Cross to like Reminder, just like Kingdom Hearts 3 in general. The first one is, I think, obviously Ventus being a Union leader, like a Dandelion leader. That's probably gonna be if anything, that's the most likely one, because at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, we obviously see Ven with his Chirithy and stuff. So that's kind of like wink, wink. Like, that's probably gonna come up at some point. So maybe Ven will like remember, or someone's gonna tell him, or just whatever. I don't know, but I think Ven is probably gonna be one of our connections, like connecting Remind to Union Cross and stuff. The other one is obviously Subject X. I think it's pretty safe to say that it's Skuld, but it could really just be anybody. So obviously figuring out more about that, obviously with the whole Radiant Garden thing, like the experiments on her and stuff, obviously that's being brought up again. So hopefully we get more context on that. Like, that could be a way. And then obviously the Master of Masters being in Shibuya with Sora and Riku and Yuzora. That's like, with the secret episode and stuff, I think that's what that's going to entail. But even just the secret ending, even if it doesn't touch on that stuff, obviously him being there he's there for a reason. He's there to just, do what he does. Nobody knows what he does. But so, yeah, I mean, all 3 of these things could happen. None of them can happen. But I think, like, if I were to put money on it and to guess how these two like different arcs are going to connect, it's either going to be like through Ventus, Subject X, and finding out more about that, or the Master of Masters. So I don't know. It could be anything, though.
Yeah, I've been going through the secret reports lately, and I'm so surprised by like how much the secret reports revolve around Subject X. I think there's been like maybe 1 or 2 reports out of like the 6 that I've gone through that don't touch on it. I'm like, wait, I don't remember like these being so much about this random X character.
And that's the thing throughout this series. I mean, I don't know if it's because I was a kid and I wasn't really like diving into them as deeply, but dude, the secret reports in Kingdom Hearts 3 are just there's so much that's just, it's so important, to learn about.
Oh yeah,
especially with the whole Subject X stuff. Like, going throughout the game, I thought I just wasn't thinking correctly. Like, whenever they referenced like the girl, I'm like, who's the girl? Like, I for some reason I was like, should I know who this is? And then you realize with the secret reports, you weren't supposed to know that. I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm not a fake fan, But yeah.
Well, I wonder if 358 over 2 days, there's a ton of like journals and secret stuff there. I wonder if there's like a mention of it there. It probably is not, but I'd be interested to see if there's at least like one small hint to it in those reports.
If I had to critique the writing at all, I would feel like the introduction of her is like a little ham-fisted. The way that every character is suddenly like spouting off about like, oh, we blah, Subject X, oh, the girl, I did all of this to atone for what I did to her, and I was like, hang on a minute, I thought you did this because I'm talking about Ansem right now. Like, you either wanted revenge on your apprentices, or you wanted this, that, or the other, or you wanted to find out about the heart. And it's like, oh no, I felt so guilty about what we did to Subject X that I had to shut down my experiments. And I was like, I think that's true.
I wonder if they're gonna write it so Chain of Memories, Sora's like heart was the chains were pulled apart, so everyone forgot about him. but only after his heart was being reconstructed everyone started to remember again. So I wonder if that's how they could kind of explain why, like, she suddenly started coming back up.
Right.
It's not a bad idea.
But no, that could be a thing. I mean, absolutely. Why not? Also, and I totally forgot, like, the biggest kicker, obviously, with like the whole Unicross thing, or not the biggest, but one of the big ones, was the whole Ephemer scene with Sora in the Keyblade graveyard and stuff. There's going to be a giant connection between Sora and Ephemer. Like, I could already feel that. Like, they wouldn't have just thrown that in there for no reason. Yeah, absolutely. And I just find it strange that they don't name him. Like, he's just question mark in the journals and stuff. But it's strange that they would do that, because I'm like, well, we know who he is. I mean, if you play Union Cross, you know who he is.
We do. I think that's sort of like a callback to Kingdom Hearts 2, right? Like, as you're playing through that game, you meet different organization members. They go in the journal as question mark.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's not till Sora or Jiminy actually learns who it is.
That's the thing. Yeah. Of course, yeah, and that's sort of,
I never knew that.
Yeah, that's like when Nomura was saying, he's like, I forgot about what characters have met each other and who didn't, because the fans know the fans know so much, but the actual characters, I mean, like that entire scene where, you know, we've rescued Ven and Aqua, where they're all like meeting each other for like the first time. I'm like, this is something that I like, you know, I know all this, like this is crazy, but like seeing them interact with that and stuff, it's crazy that like how much more about their story we know than they know. Like
they do, yeah.
It's wild.
And then right after that scene, Jiminy comes up and he's like, I'm giving you all gummy phones so you can know all the connections. And it's like, hey. Oh, man.
But yeah, no,
I again, wonder if, like, are you going?
Oh, no. I was just going to say, like, no, again, like, that's just, I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I wonder how much, like, the world order is now needing to be preserved, given that they just sort of, I guess, I mean, kidnap's the wrong word, but, you know, Hayden Pence and Olette are clearly hanging out on Destiny Islands, and it's like, oh yeah, I guess we're just taken into the, you know, Kingdom Hearts 2. Oh, let's take a trip to the beach. Kingdom Hearts 3. Let's take a trip to the beach, but Destiny Islands beach instead. Like,
yeah,
I never even thought about that. That's funny.
Protect the world.
I wonder. Yeah, they're just like, try that town. They've already seen so much. That'll be fine.
Yeah. Kick cats in the back.
Yeah, the cat's out of the bag at this point, so might as well just like let them do what they want.
There are other worlds out there. Yeah, it's like, where have you been for the last 3 games, dude? Like,
yeah, it's kind of like,
where do you think Sora keeps going?
Yeah,
he just goes for a really long walk.
I forgot, but I think I was streaming and someone brought that up. They're like, what happened to like the whole keeping the world order thing? I'm like, dude, that's just it's not a thing anymore.
Do it for every other world.
Do not worry about it.
Like, just try that town. They're just like, whatever.
They're here.
So wonder, like, oh yeah, go on.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, Scrooge McDuck never seemed to give a damn. So,
oh yeah, doesn't he like travel to all the worlds?
Yeah, he's like, tell them shop. Like, oh, this is my, Twilight Town branch, and they're like, what do you mean by that? He's like, don't worry about it. It's fine. I got like 40 other shops around the place. It's fine.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, I wanted to know what your thoughts on between the connections with Union Cross remind, Damo.
I still, part of me thinks they're not going to give the whole game away just yet. I don't know. I really feel like this Union Cross thing could keep going for theoretically indefinitely. Like the way they're dragging out this story. I don't know. I still don't think we're going to get as much as people think we're going to get from Remind. As I don't know. I'm trying to keep
everyone's hyping it up.
Cautiously optimistic. Yeah, like there's so much to cover. And I think they still want to leave hooks open for future games. Like, if we think about it, we've never really gotten all the answers that we want from a Kingdom Hearts game. Like, every time you think you get answers, you really don't. Like,
of course.
I mean, 3 out of 2 days, it's like, oh, we're going to find out all about Roxas. And then it's like, oh, wait, hang on. Who's this other girl? And then the entire story is about this other girl instead. And that's obviously important later on. But, RE coded. What was the point of that whole story if not for, oh, yeah, by the way, at the very, very end, there's data worlds. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Like, no, I definitely agree with that for sure. I mean, I feel like Recoded is slowly but surely making its way, like you said, with the data worlds and stuff. So, I guess, did it need its own game? Not really, but they're just trying to be like, okay, everything's important. Like, dude, I spent months telling people like, don't worry about that game, don't worry about that game, don't worry about that game. And then we saw the whole like data thing like getting sort of introduced in Big Hero 6, and like I was like with Union Cross especially, I'm like, damn it, like now it matters now.
I thought that was going to be the most obvious link between Union Cross and Kingdom Hearts 3. It's like, okay, you set up the data worlds are important. You set up that Chip and Dale have a machine that can read a book and convert it into data worlds. It's like we can theorize that Union Cross is a data world. It's like, okay, so is it then probable that between the events of Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts 3, someone has found a copy of the Book of Prophecies, put it in Chip and Dale's old machine, and effectively what we are playing is literally a data recreation of the Keyblade War, written from the Book of Prophecies. And it's like, oh, it all makes so much sense, right? And then we're going to go into like a glitchy ass, Big Hero 6, Wreck-It Ralph world, which, Nomura had teased back at the Dandelion meeting, a year and a half ago. And it's like, okay, fine. And then that'll tie into Kingdom Hearts 3 because, somehow we'll discover this world that we shouldn't really be connected to, but we are anyway. And then that'll pop out of the Chip and Dale thing that they're working on in Kingdom Hearts 3, and that's how Sori's going to make Big Hero, Wreck-It Ralph, blah, 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 blah. And then in Kingdom Hearts 3, it's like, oh no, you just get the summon. Like, there's no factor about it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like...
I feel like Ventus is going to connect with Ralph or Wreck-It Ralph or whatever. And I feel like that's how it's going to come about, that like Sora can connect with Wreck-It Ralph. But it doesn't really make sense because, well, it wouldn't make sense if we actually saw that before Kingdom Hearts 3 came out. But they haven't like had any interactions together. So it's like, why?
Yeah.
I kind of like that theory. Like, I could see that somehow the Union leaders go in to try and rescue, Ephemer and us, and Ven is like, oh, hey, how you doing? We should be friends forever. Like, we should be friends forever, Ven, you're right.
Yeah. But, man, there's so many small details in Kingdom Hearts 3 that it's crazy. Like, I was just playing the end of, like the boss battle against Xehanort, where you turn into like the Heartless, where he like forces you into rage form, right? And you can't wrist charge at that point. So I always theorize, and like it makes, when you wrist charge, it makes the same sound as a heart coming out, right? And so you can wrist charge 3 times. Sorry, voice cracked. And like you're channeling. So like what I'm thinking is like Ventus, Roxas, and Xion, right?
Yeah.
You're channeling their power through this rage, this pain. So at the end, like all 3 of those people are back, and then you're fighting Xehanort and you go into rage form and you can't wrist charge because you don't have those hearts inside you anymore. So it's just like all these like really like minute like small details, like this is so cool. I don't know where I was going with this, but I just remember that. So
no, I like that. I do like the theory, just to kind of, if you're able to trigger rage form on your own before that, are you able to risk charge still?
Yeah, you are. So. Yeah, against the vessels you can. But forget about that. Don't worry about that.
Okay. Well, that's not canon, obviously. Like, Sora would never use
obviously.
That.
No.
I kind of like that theory.
Yeah. That is interesting.
Oh, man. I'm working on this one about skulls because I have this idea that, you know what? Never mind. Let's move on.
Spoilers.
I could just talk about all these crazy things Kingdom Hearts 3. Anyways, Remind, since we kind of talked about Union Cross and Remind connecting, other than Union Cross connections, what do you guys think is going to be in the Remind? If we see any Remind trailers, what do you guys think will be in those?
Let me see. Remind trailers.
Personally, I'm like really hoping that we see Oblivion, and we like are confirmed that we get both Keyblades. That would be so nice.
Yeah, because we were talking earlier how I was saying that I think it's definitely strange that they. Again, I could be wrong, could be a mistranslation, but I'm pretty sure they said that the free DLC along with Remind will be 1 Keyblade and 1 transformation. And when we saw Sora obviously wielding Oblivion in like the orchestra trailer, then not Oblivion, I'm sorry, Oathkeeper. Like it's weird that we're not getting both of them because I feel like they're just kind of like the yin and yang. Like they're just when I think of Oathkeeper, I think of Oblivion. So I think it's strange that we're only getting one of them. And like you were bringing up about the proofs, how like one sort of resembles Oathkeeper, one resembles Oblivion. And I just again, I think it's weird that we're not getting Oblivion as of right now. We don't know. They could just throw it in there. That could have been a mistranslation. But I do, if we do get something else, I do want Oblivion for sure. I would love to see sort of like the how the two forms sort of complement each other. Like, you know, how we'll have like one of darkness and then like one of light, or like however the heck they want to do it. But in terms of just like content for Remind, like in the trailers, I made a video on this where I was talking about how I don't want them to show too much, because I feel like the community as a whole can sort of agree that they showed a little bit too much, like a little bit being generous. Like they did show a lot. So I want them to basically, like, the length of the first trailer that we got was perfect. It showed the perfect amount. It gave us enough to talk about, enough to theorize on, but it didn't give anything away. So I want them to obviously touch on specifically the secret episode and like the secret boss, or like whatever that whole scenario is, but I don't want them to straight up like reveal what it's about. I like the way that they were really like sneaky and secret with like the whole, like how they ended the last trailer with Luxord and Zigbar talking, you know, like little things like that where it sort of leaves you on a cliffhanger, but you're getting like the context of it. Like I don't want straight up to find out why the Master of Masters is in Shibuya with Sora and Riku and Sora, but the fact that there's sort of like content to it, and like they're giving us like sort of like the premise for what's going to happen, I'm fine with that. That's totally fine, because I feel like that's something a lot of people are expecting to be a part of the secret episode. But if it's not, that's even better. If it's something brand new, that's even better. But aside from connecting to Union Cross, I mean, that's like, look, they could do whatever they want with this DLC. I'll be satisfied. It'll be cool. But it's how they go about advertising it is what I'm worried about. I don't want them to show too much. And Square Enix being Square Enix, they probably will. But this is DLC. It's not a full game. They don't really need to push it, and they don't need to really sell us on it, because I feel like if you have the game, you'll probably just buy the DLC. You know, at least for the hardcore fans, they'll do it.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're gonna have a problem like needing to show too much. It's a matter of just like, will they do it? And I think we can expect them to do it, but who knows? It's just DLC. We've never had Kingdom Hearts DLC before, so we don't know.
Yeah. I personally hope they give us the entire story. That would just be fantastic if they did that with the DLC trailers.
Well, like give it away and give us everything.
I'm just messing.
Yeah, you don't need to buy this. Did they even say how much it's gonna be?
No, we've only had the one trailer, I think.
Yeah,
and then
because
some of the information.
I was kind of, because a couple people asked me when I was streaming like how much I think it's gonna be, and from what they're telling us, like what's gonna be a part of it, just like by guesstimating, I mean, I'd be happy with like 20 US, like something on like 1999, something like that. So I think that'd be good. If it's a little bit more, it just has to have a lot of content. But for a few hours of content, like really good story stuff, like with the extra like scenarios with like boss fights and stuff, how you could pick like Roxas, Aqua, and Riku. I mean, there's a lot of replay value in it. I think $20 is fine, but depends on how much they put into it.
Yeah, they showed Axel with in the party member, which is really weird.
Yeah, that was the concern of mine. So that's sort of where I got the idea, where it's kind of like data simulation thing. Like I don't know if it's gonna be a part of the actual story, but I think it's like you can go back and like fight them, like whether it's data or just like, you know, whatever. I don't think it's canon, because that retcon's like a pretty big part of the story, like, you know, where Lee loses his Keyblade and stuff. So I don't want them to do that.
I think I saw someone theorizing like maybe Sora is jumping world lines, like trying to find the world line where Kairi doesn't die.
Yeah.
But
oh, okay, that could work.
I think that'd be awesome, but
because they definitely hinted that in the secret reports, like, you know, with like world lines and stuff, and Union Cross, that seems to be a pretty big thing too. So that could be the secret episode, just him going back through and like fighting and like all that stuff. Like that'd be cool. That'd be really awesome.
Yeah,
why not?
I sort of don't know how you get, from what we've seen, I don't know how you get Kairi back without. Okay, so he got the initial heroes back by more or less reversing time, right? So how do you get Kairi back without reversing your victory over Xehanort?
Yeah,
right, unless you do exactly what you said, you jump world lines until you find out one where you also won without losing Kairi, or something darker where you lose where you don't lose Kairi, but maybe you lose someone else. I don't know. They're not going to do that, but
don't do that.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah,
to make a choice.
And again, you know how there's like the consequences of like the power of waking stuff, and like there's obviously specific rules to time travel. Obviously, you got to leave, you know, your body behind. You can only go as far or as far back you like as where like a version of you exists or whatever. Like what are going to be like the laws of world line jumping? Because Lushu, I think it was Lushu in the secret reports, basically said that it takes like nobody can just do this. It's not as simple as like time travel. Like this takes like the power of like a master to do something like this. So I'm just curious as to like if we do like experience like the whole like world line jumping thing, like I want to know what the consequences of that are. Like, is that the power of waking? Is it like the same thing? Or is it going to be like a different set of rules, and then there's going to be like a whole new mechanic to exploring in Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, well, I've been talking to the secret reports trying to figure out this theory that we're like, it's just too massive. It's just crazy. But we're thinking, well, I think, I shouldn't say we. The Masters like says like, I don't know when, but I'm gonna disappear, right?
Mhm.
And he seems to know like way more than he should. Sora, if we just take the secret ending or the ending at face value, he just randomly like they're sitting side by side and he disappears randomly. So like, is that something connected with jumping world lines, which is why like the Masters and Sora disappear, or maybe like both of them like might have like wielded the Keyblade and used that power, so maybe that like caused both of them to disappear. It's really like weird. But yeah, like I wonder like why both Sora and the Masters end up just kind of like not existing anymore.
Yeah, and it's strange because it's so open-ended where like we're literally just like spitballing at this point because like to be fair within the context of the game, we don't know what happened to him. We don't know what's really going on. We're just sort of trying to figure out what's going on. So whatever it may be, dude, I have no idea. I just feel like you said, you never get all the questions answered with this game, but for me personally, I'm very, very, very impressed or thrown back, I guess, about how open-ended it actually was. I thought it was going to be sort of like, okay, like the game's done, everything's resolved, and then like here's a little tease of what's going to happen. No, they didn't do that. They left it wide open. So it's like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's so frustrating, but I love it at the same time.
Yeah.
Gotta leave him wanting more. That's like this series in a nutshell, right? You can never really, even in Kingdom Hearts 2, which I think had the closest you could come to like, okay, we're wrapping up the series kind of ending. There was still that little hook at the end of like, oh, but there's, you know, the call of another adventure is still out there.
I thought that that's sort of what it was going to be. Like it'd be a nod to Union Cross, sort of like what they did do, you know, with the whole foretellers and Lucia coming back and stuff. Like that was crazy. But then we have this whole scenario with like Sora disappearing and then obviously Riku going to find him. That was with the Master of Masters. And we're like, dang, there's still so much more to this franchise. And it's going to be crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
I sort of wonder like the logic behind that. If they don't have confidence that a new title will sell unless you leave those sort of hooks in, be like, okay, we want you to come back and we're going to leave you wanting more because of exactly that reason. Or I don't know. I mean, like fans like us were obviously in every installment. We don't care. Like just we'll take anything they're going to give us at this point. But
we'll buy the same game like 4 times if they re-release it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, literally.
I think I have like the PS2 versions. I think I bought the PS3 packages, and then I bought the PS4 packages, and then I was really tempted to buy the story so far, like all in one package. Like,
oh yeah, no, I've bought Kingdom Hearts 2 like 4 times.
Yep.
So yeah, beats me.
I think that was like such a marketing thing of like Nomura's like, no, it's gonna be called 1.5 and 2.5 remix, and they're like, okay, you can have that, but then we're also gonna call it the story so far to like not confuse anyone. Just buy this and you'll get it all. Like there's some poor Japanese marketing executive being like, no, you can't call it 1.5 and 2.5 remix because no one knows what that means. Like no one who isn't intimately already aware of what that means knows what that means.
Yeah, I saw like a meme where, you know, when 1.5 and 2.5 got announced, where it was literally 1.5 plus 2.5 is how it was on the box. So my friend sent it to me, and he was just like, "Yo, I can't believe they're dropping Kingdom Hearts 4 before Kingdom Hearts 3." Like that's the way it looks, awesome. You know?
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny.
Yikes.
Oh man. Wow, we've already been talking for a good long while. This is probably a good place to end it. Do you guys have any other last thoughts you want to include?
No, Astral Chain, that's it.
Man, dude, don't even get me started. I wrote it. I was so excited for that game.
Let's go, man.
Have you seen that, Damo?
I've seen the trailer from E3, but hasn't really been on my radar outside of that, but I know there's a lot of hype building for it.
Yeah, I saw part of the E3 trailer, and then I was like, this game looks awesome. I'm not gonna look at anything else.
Yeah, no, I saw the first reveal trailer. I think it was the second to last thing they showed at one of the Nintendo Directs. I think it was in February, and honestly, that was when I thought Sora was gonna get revealed for Smash. But, anyways, but yeah, no, they showed that trailer, and I was like, I don't know what this is, but it is like absolutely insane. So,
right,
I've been hyped for that game for a while, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's crazy.
the one thing I want from Remind the most, I don't know, the way that Lushu's been this like dedicated follower of the Master of Master for potentially thousands of years. It's like, oh boy, I can't wait for my master to come back, and we'll go on adventures together. And then it turns out that he did come back to visit Xehanort at one point and sort of set him off on his little voyage, or at least make sure he was being guided in the right direction. I sort of want to know what happens when Lushu finds that out, or if that's still part of the plan. Like, oh yeah, I'm going to come back for one little visit, or if Lushu thinks that he's still waiting for him to return and still waiting for guidance. Faithfully waiting. I hope he comes back one day. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, I've seen like a lot of people actually talking about how. I mean, was that confirmed that was the Master of Masters?
Not
because people were saying, what if that's not him and that actually is Lushu sort of coaching him in order to like have the events that have unfolded, with him craving power and wanting to summon Kingdom Hearts and like all that stuff. What if that is actually, I know it looks like the Master of Masters, the way he's like moving his hands and stuff, but like, what if that is just like one of his like old, like possessions or, whatever.
Totally valid. Completely
and he could just be sort of trying to like coach him along. Cause I mean, to be fair, Xigbar does sort of move his hands like that too. So what if that is just, what if it's not the Master of Masters? What if that's just Lushu like coaching him to do what he wants him to do, and so the Master Masters can come back?
I would say it wouldn't be in like the Braig/Xigbar body, but that's a totally valid theory.
Yeah,
totally.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I mean, that could just be his personality, like we don't even know if like how long Braig has been Braig. It could have just been Lushu this whole time. I don't think that was really ever confirmed or not, but it could just. I think that would be a really cool twist because everyone thinks that's the Master of Masters, but it could just be Lushu like coaching him the entire time. Who knows?
Totally. I sort of think that like Lushu could have set himself up at one point to be, maybe not, but like to be the master of Xehanort and Ericus, because in the secret reports, doesn't Xehanort talk about like he had to make a journey back to his master or something?
Yeah. To his master side.
Exactly. So that was my only thing of thinking like, okay, that seems to imply the Master of Masters, but I could see it being Lushu as well.
Yeah, because again, if it is
Keyblade is
Oh,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say because if it is him and that is Lushu, then that makes sense with the secret reports because Ericus went off and did his own thing, and at that point, Xehanort doesn't have his eyes; he's got the silver eyes, not the gold ones. Mm-hmm. So when he said he was going to visit like the fairy tale worlds and all that stuff, like when he talks about the world tour, that could be what he's talking about. And if Lushu, like whether that's obviously not Braig at that point or whatever, but that could be the moment where that he's talking about in the secret reports where he says that he's going on his like world tour to visit the worlds like talked about in fairy tales and stuff. So that could be Lushu like being the master of like his master, not the Master of Masters, but like being his master.
Yeah.
Of him just sort of like coaching him through and telling him like, hey, do this so this happens. So who knows? That's the thing that I thought was
weird. That like the no heart or no name Keyblade is actually I think is the name actually Gazing Eye now? Didn't the secret report say like the Keyblade is named Gazing Eye or something?
I don't know about that.
I didn't.
I just know it never. Yeah, I just know that it never. I know it's just called No Name because it never really got a name. But
it never. Yeah. But anyways, that's like that's hanging up on the wall in Scala. But it's like, when did Lushu give up his Keyblade? Or is that like?
I think we're gonna say that pretty soon.
Yeah.
Like I would say honestly within the next couple months, I would expect to see like crap going down in Union Cross, like potentially our world glitching out, and we have to abandon ship and go to another world line, and in that mess, Lushu pops in and gives the Keyblade to one of the 5. In my opinion, either like Braig or Ephemer are the 2 big candidates for who's
I was actually just about to ask you guys who you think that he gave his Keyblade to, because he did give it to one of them.
I honestly think Ephemer's bad. I don't know why. I just like in my head I think he's not as good as he's shown to be. So I would think that he kind of like takes up the mantle.
Because I think what it says in the secret reports, and like you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if I can specifically remember it, but I know that he said he did give his Keyblade to one of them, and then he mentions how one of them is, obviously Brain's the one that's not supposed to be there. We know that. Because he said the one that he's like a virus or a glitch or something, and then Brain calls himself a virus or a glitch. Yeah. So then we know that he's the one that's not supposed to be there. Like he took Strelitzia's place, but we don't know what happened with her and all that stuff because it's not actually set in stone who took her out and stuff. Yeah. So I figured that was implying like he gave his Keyblade to him, or maybe he gave it to someone else. I have no idea, but I remember something like that where I don't know. I had an idea.
Yeah. One report refers to like there's a virus within the system, a virus that's going to take down the master's carefully laid plans or whatever. And then the next one is they've attempted to enter a new world. During the chaos, I snuck in and gave my Keyblade to one of them, and then, basically kept watching from afar as they escaped to that new world line.
Yeah, and I couldn't remember if he said that he gave his Keyblade to that person or if he just mentioned he
They
just gave it to one
don't
of
say
them.
who. Yeah, they don't say who.
Word.
I wonder if it'll just like appear, like we'll like jump world lines and it'll like be all crazy, and then we get to the end, and then we all like call forth the Keyblades, and one of them just has the no name. And it'll be like,
Yeah.
insane.
Oh my god. Yeah, like the end all be all of like Union Cross. Like Ephemer just summons no name. You're like, oh, there it is. And then the whole thing ends with Sora playing the game on his gummy phone, and then that's it.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
I don't know.
I know I've already harped on about it, but that was the same thing as well. Like, we have these 20 little mini games in Kingdom Hearts 3, and 5 of them are in Union Cross, and it's like, I literally thought the gummy phone was going to be how Union Cross ties into Kingdom Hearts 3.
I did
like,
too.
Ralph is going to be in there. It's going to be the whole game.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
And it's just like, nope. Data World 2. What are they?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I was hoping they would have like Datasaur in there, or like
Right?
somehow like pull in Datasaur, but nope.
What?
Oh well.
I still keep harping on about like how the data. I know you want to wrap this up, sorry.
No,
Like,
you're fine. You're fine.
The data, Donald and Goofy, and maybe Mickey and Chip and Dale that like enter Union Cross, and they're able to explore these like data worlds.
Oh,
Like, are
yeah.
they from our current time? That's what I keep thinking. Like it all makes so much sense if Chip and Dale scan the Book of Prophecies and make data worlds out of that. That potentially like people from the past are able to, like, if they can jump world line, it's like, okay. You can
Well,
jump
yeah,
from
we
your world
know that that's
ultimate
possible
version
because of the
that
whole
world.
thing. Yeah, the thing with Maleficent, we know that that's possible because that's
Bingo,
obviously the
exactly.
Maleficent that we see in that cutscene with Darkness or whatever. We know that that's the Maleficent from like our timeline. So I wouldn't put it past them for that to actually be the real, Donald and Goofy and Mickey and Chip and Dale.
Well, I was almost wondering, like, if you can make a data Sora, why can't you make a data Donald and Goofy to go
Right,
like
that too.
explore stuff for you? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, if Maleficent can go, I'm going to time travel, and if she just sets her destination as, Enchanted Dominion from the past, that's generic enough that an alternate version of Enchanted Dominion can end up being where she ends up rather than where she wants to go. Like, is that trying to say that that's an alternate world line? Like, it does. Like, it's like Data Twilight Town is an alternate world line of the Twilight Town that we know.
Right.
I don't know. Like, how specific? We still don't know what the hell that word actually means. Like, we can sort of assume a couple things about it, given that we're given the word world line, but there's so much left to interpretation from it.
Yeah, is it only like that one report that talks about it, or like one or two reports that just like mention it like once?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, in Kingdom Hearts 2, I've like the opening, we see Axel like portal, like using a dark corridor to like hop into Data Twilight Town.
Yep.
But he doesn't know it's a Data version, and so like that fascinated me because I was like, whoa, this makes like total sense if we like look at it in the context of like Maleficent did the same thing when she time traveled.
He doesn't know it's a data. Doesn't he go like, this is his town, right? It's been a while since I played Kingdom Hearts 2, but like when he gets in there, he's like, this is his world. That means we don't have long. Something like that.
So like he accidentally like ends up, I think, there.
Okay.
I think he was like because all the nobodies like know Roxas is in an area, but then when they go in there, they get confused because everything's just data. I'll have to look at that again.
And again, when it comes to transforming all the worlds into like data and stuff, like, and this is sort of like, because I've been trying so hard to figure out how Yozora is going to be, like, why he's a thing, like why he exists. I'm starting to think that just Verum Rex is just a data version of like his actual world and stuff. So like he's not actually from a video game. Like that's just sort of like how it's set up to be and stuff, or something like that. Because like, I mean, there's no way that they're gonna make a random video game character from Toy Box like a real character in the series. Like there has to be a reason. So with the whole data versions of worlds and like, turning things into data and stuff, like I wouldn't put it past them to just say, hey, this world got turned into data, but it's not like he's not like a video game character. He just happened to, that whole thing. I don't know, but
we'll probably learn in like Kingdom Hearts 25.
I want to. I think if
Remind
Remind has to answer one thing, I want to know why Yozora is a thing. I need to know that.
All right, do you want to hear my like complete tinfoil hat on that one?
Give me it, man.
Go for it.
So Ari coded. If like Chip and Dale and all that are like watching on the screen as Data Sora runs through, if we had to like assume that, it sounds ridiculous already. if we were to assume that like they're watching that and they can see what the player is seeing, like on the DS, for example, are they watching effectively Kingdom Hearts 1 being played through as if it was a video game with like timers and flashing warnings and score multipliers and like an RPG system and everything like that? You know, the way they go through like Olympus Coliseum. So what if like the Yozora world, you know, actually happened? The Verum Rex was an event that happened in the Verum Rex world, let's say, but was then like converted into data and made into a video game that somehow exists in the Toy Box world. Like,
that's what I'm saying. There's no way that there's no way it's just a video game. There's no way Verum Rex is just a video game, especially with that secret ending. Like that solidified it for me. Like there's no way. So I want to see what happens with that.
Well, we do know that Data did in Recoded. They like kind of like hint, like pretty much said like, oh, even if you're Data, you can have a heart, right?
Yeah.
So I guess they could just be like, oh, like Yuzuru is just gaining sentience or whatever the word is, and just like gaining a heart.
Yeah, because that was the whole significance of like the Roxas scene, right? In Recoded, where he was like talking to Roxas and stuff. I don't know. I haven't played Recoded.
I haven't watched it in so long, or played it in so long. Oh man.
Dang.
Yeah, well, so like Data Sora needed to accept all the hurt without having his heart basically fall apart, and therefore the real Sora should be able to do the same thing.
Right.
But yeah,
is that what? Is that what they were getting across?
I thought so.
Whenever I played it, no, I mean like whenever I played it, I'm just like, oh wow, I forgot Roxas is in this, and I just like completely gloss over all that they're talking about. Cause I'm just like, wow, Roxas is here, he's dual wielding.
We get to fight him, cool. I think like, and that's why, isn't it in Kingdom Hearts 3D? Like that's why Roxas goes and basically gives him all these memories, and he's like, okay, I know you can take it. That's why it has to.
Oh,
yeah,
that makes total sense.
Sort of already proved that he can.
Yeah.
I just got goosebumps thinking about that scene. I don't know, that one scene where like Sora's chasing his memories in that like nightmarish world that never was. I don't know, that's such a cool scene to me. God. Even now, like however many years on, this freaking series can still give me goosebumps, man. It's crazy.
I've been like really getting to Dream Drop Distance lately. I don't know if it's because like Kingdom Hearts 3 kind of gave us some plot points to like jump off of, but it's like because I'm playing it right now at just getting footage for like breakdown series, and I'm just like, wow, like why have I never been into this game?
I think the PS4 version is actually quite a good game. Like even the fact that enemies get stunned when you hit them does so much for the game. I have no idea. Like I enjoyed it so much more.
Of course. I actually loved it way more on the PS4. Like you said, I mean, when I was playing through when 2.8 came out, I was just kind of like, oh, like, you know, whatever. I'm here for 0.2 and like the movie. But Dream Drop Distance, it's way better. I mean, I don't know. I think it's the same thing with like Chain of Memories. When they put it on a console, it was infinitely better. I loved, especially with Dream Drop Distance though. I was concerned because without like the touchscreen thing and like doing the reality shifts and stuff, I was like, oh God, how's it going to work? And the whole like dropping thing. I still hate the whole dropping thing. I think that it's annoying. But other than that, they did such a solid job with it, and it runs really well, and I love it.
Yeah, that 60 frames is absolutely beautiful.
Perfect.
Yeah. Well, I think this is a good spot then.
Before we start again,
real this time.
Thank you guys so much for coming on. If you guys want to plug your stuff real quick right at the end, you can do that.
Okay, guys, last time I'm sure you remember, but I am Lunar Lux. You can look me up on YouTube, just Lunar Lux, Twitter and Twitch, Lunar Lux YT, because Lunar Lux is taken. So yeah, follow me on that stuff.
I'm Damo. I'm taking a little bit of a break from Kingdom Hearts Cross strategy videos, but I'll be back to it soon, especially during 4th anniversary. I'm looking forward to that a lot. And yeah, we'll be theorizing about the story on the channel, hopefully soon. But thanks so much for hosting us, Bio.
Yeah, thank you again, dude, for having me. It was sick.
Thanks for coming out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, click the card on screen to watch some of the other recast videos, and I'll see you in the next one.